What if the person pouring your morning coffee held the secret to completely changing your life forever? At 6:30 a.m. on a rainy Tuesday, 42-year-old tech billionaire Harrison Blake sat alone in his penthouse office, staring at a resignation letter from his head chef. The man had served his family for 15 years, but the final line burned into his mind. "You've forgotten what it means to treat people with dignity." Harrison had built a $12 billion empire, yet somehow he had lost something priceless along the way. That morning, instead of calling his driver, he pulled on a simple coat, walked 8 blocks through the cold drizzle, and stepped into a tiny diner called Betty's Kitchen, a place he had never bothered to visit before. He had no idea that in the next hour, a 35-year-old waitress named Rachel would say 3 simple words that would shatter everything he believed about success. Where are you watching this story from right now? Drop your city in the comments, because this one is about to hit deep. The little brass bell above the door chimed softly as Harrison stepped inside, water dripping from his coat onto the worn floor. The diner smelled of fresh coffee and bacon. Red vinyl booths were patched with duct tape, and the old coffee machine hissed like an old friend. Rachel Martinez had been working the morning shift at Betty's for 3 years, ever since her husband's construction accident left them buried under medical bills. At 35, she moved with quiet strength, dark hair in a practical ponytail, and a smile that still reached her tired eyes. She approached Harrison's corner booth with a warm pot of coffee. "Good morning. First time at Betty's?" she asked, flipping his cup right side up with practiced ease. Harrison nodded, surprised that nobody recognized him. His face had been on magazine covers for years, yet here he was just another customer hiding from the rain. "I'll have the number 2 special," he said. "And thank you for the coffee." The words felt strange coming out of his mouth. When was the last time he had personally thanked anyone who served him? As Rachel worked the floor, Harrison watched her. She remembered every regular's order, asked about their kids by name, made every single person feel seen. When old Mr. Peterson spilled his water, she cleaned it up without a hint of annoyance, and slipped him an extra slice of pie, whispering, "Tuesdays are tough enough." But Harrison also noticed the small things. The way she favored her left ankle, the faded uniform washed 100 times, the flash of exhaustion when she thought nobody was looking. Here was someone giving everything she had, while he had everything and somehow felt empty. Over the next hour, Harrison lingered over his coffee, something he never did in his perfectly scheduled life. He watched Rachel handle a rude businessman who snapped his fingers and complained about slow Wi-Fi. She stayed calm, offered solutions, never raised her voice. "Some people are just having a rough morning," she told another customer later. "We all need a little extra patience sometimes." Harrison felt something twist in his chest. How many times had he been that rude businessman? When the man left without tipping, Harrison felt anger rise on Rachel's behalf. This woman worked harder than most of his executives, yet she was barely keeping her family warm. Around 9 a.m., he overheard Rachel on the phone during her short break, voice low and worried. "I know the payment's late, but I get paid Friday. Please don't shut off the heat. My daughter's been fighting this cold, and she needs..." The manager called her back to the floor. Rachel hung up, fixed her smile, and kept going. Harrison's heart pounded harder than before any billion-dollar deal. He stood, walked to the counter where she was refilling napkins, and spoke quietly. "Excuse me. I couldn't help overhearing. Are you okay?" For a second, her guard dropped. Real worry, real fear flashed in her eyes. "Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm fine," she said, hands shaking slightly as she worked. Harrison recognized that pride. He had built an empire on it. "Look, I've been watching how you treat people, how hard you work. If you're going through something, maybe I can help." He reached for his wallet. Rachel stopped and really looked at him for the first time. "You're very generous, but I can't accept money from customers. Betty would fire me if she thought I was taking charity." "It wouldn't be charity," Harrison said. "It would be payment for making every person in here feel human this morning. That has value." Rachel set down the napkins and met his eyes. "Can I tell you something?" Harrison nodded. 3 months ago, my husband fell from scaffolding. The medical bills wiped us out. I work double shifts here and at the grocery store just to stay afloat. But you know what keeps me going? Every single morning when I wake up, I get to choose who I want to be that day. Rich or poor, struggling or comfortable, I can still choose to be kind. I can still choose to see the good in people. Money would fix my problems for a month, sir, but it wouldn't fix who I am. Something broke open inside Harrison's chest. This woman owned something his money could never buy, an unbreakable sense of her own worth. He whispered, I need to ask you something. What do you see when you look at me? Rachel tilted her head, studying him the same way she studied every customer. I see someone who's forgotten how to be still. Someone who's been running so fast towards something that he lost track of where he started. And I see someone who's lonely, even in a room full of people. The words hit like a wave. Harrison felt tears threaten for the first time in 15 years. I've spent my life building an empire, he said, voice cracking. But I don't think I've built a single real relationship. I have employees who fear me, partners who want something from me, family who only call when they need money. But you don't even know who I am, and you've shown me more kindness in one morning than I've felt in years. Rachel smiled softly and refilled his coffee without being asked. That's because kindness isn't about what people can do for you. It's about seeing the person underneath everything else. Rich, poor, powerful, struggling, we're all just people trying to get through the day with a little dignity. Harrison took a deep breath. My name is Harrison Blake. I own Blake Technologies. I'm worth more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes, and until this morning, I thought that made me successful. Rachel's eyes widened just a little, but her warmth never changed. And what are you going to do with that realization? She asked. It was the most important question anyone had ever asked him. Rachel wiped the counter one last time, shift almost over, and looked straight into his eyes. Just be real, she said simply. 3 little words. Just be real. Not rich. Not powerful. Not impressive. Just real. Harrison felt the world shift. How do I even do that? He asked, honestly lost. Start small. Rachel smiled, taking off her apron. Say thank you and mean it. Ask people how they're doing and actually listen. Remember that everyone you meet is fighting battles you know nothing about. She gathered her things, limping slightly toward the door. Wait, Harrison said, standing quickly. I want to do something real. Not charity. Something real. Let me call the hospital about your husband's bills. Let me talk to Betty about making you assistant manager. I heard you studying accounting terms between orders. And please come consult for my company. We need someone who actually understands what real service means. Someone who can teach my people what you taught me today. Rachel stared at the business card he handed her, his personal cell number written on the back. You're serious? I'm trying to learn how to be, he said. You told me we get to choose who we are every day. Today I choose to be someone my grandmother would still recognize. 6 months later, Harrison still ate breakfast at Betty's every Tuesday morning, always in the same corner booth. Rachel had accepted the consulting job. Her husband was walking again. Their daughter's college fund was growing. But more than that, Harrison had learned to see his employees as people with real stories, real dreams, real pain. He discovered that true wealth is measured in genuine relationships, and real success is counted by the lives you make better. Rachel's 3 words stayed in his wallet on a small card he looked at every single day. Just be real. Because sometimes the simplest truths, spoken by the most unexpected teachers, hold the power to completely reshape a life. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, drop a comment with the moment that hit you the hardest, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what really matters. Thank you for watching.